Now it's 7 o'clock. The vote on a key transportation funding bill on pause again here in the state of Oregon. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz with the latest.
Plus, the Department of Justice suing the state of Oregon for refusing to hand over voter information. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us live with the latest and later.
My expectation is they will vote for a cut.
The Federal Reserve expected to announce cuts to interest rates today. Coming up at 7:45, a look at what that could mean for your wallet. The 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Chris McGinnis standing by for a look at weather and traffic.
Call it the Sunrise Show, so it's only appropriate that we have a sunrise. There you go, live over the Cascades this morning. Sun up now, it's just getting over Mount Hood. That is just a beautiful shot from our Wells Fargo sky camera. When you step outside, 60 last check at PDX, and elsewhere across the region, waking up to generally upper 50s to around 60. It's 56 in Beaverton and Tigard. Wilsonville, good morning to you folks, 57. And Salem, last check, 54 degrees. All right, the plan for today, plenty of sunshine, but not as hot as yesterday. PDX got to 89 degrees yesterday, Salem 93. We'll dial it back a good 8 to 12 degrees across the region this afternoon. And instead of a gusty east breeze, we'll have a pretty gusty west breeze later this afternoon as a cool front sweeps on through. We'll shoot for a high today of about 81 in Portland. Nice looking Wednesday forecast. Your 7-day comes up in just a few minutes. Let's get you out the door. We pick it up with a traffic alert on the west side. Trouble right now on the inbound Sunset. A couple of cars tangled up in a wreck near the Jefferson exit ramp. We'll zoom in real quick. I think if you look in the center of your screen, you can see at least one or two of those cars there up against the median. So that's got traffic on Highway 26 stacked up solidly out past Sylvan. If you want to skip that delay, Barnes to Burnside's a good route. Otherwise, the inbound Sunset right now is about a 32-minute ride from Hillsborough. I-84 westbound starting to pick up a little bit, and of course the drive out of Clark County slow and steady over the interstate bridge. The lineup actually starts around SR 500. That trip to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont is up to 20 at last check. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. All right, your time now is 7:02. We're learning more about an apartment fire out in Aloha. Crews were called out to the Amber Court Apartments near Southwest 201st and 704th just after 3 a.m. Flames spread from a lower unit up into the roof, but firefighters were able to keep it contained to the building. 2 people were treated for smoke inhalation, one of them taken to the hospital. 8 families are now out of their homes, and investigators are working to figure out how the fire started.
Oregon lawmakers have once again postponed the vote on the state's long-debated transportation funding bill.
A special session was supposed to resume today, but now the vote will happen between September 29th and October 1st. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us in the newsroom. So Thomas, this vote has been delayed several times. So what's going on this time?
Well, guys, once again, it's been delayed because the state Senate is waiting on one lawmaker, Democratic Senator Chris Gorsuch, who continues to recover from health complications after back surgery. Earlier this month, the House passed the transportation funding bill largely along party lines. The legislation would prevent service cuts and hundreds of layoffs at ODOT, though it would add a 6-cent gas tax hike and large fee increases for titles and registration. That's something Republicans have long pushed back against, saying Oregonians cannot afford any more taxes. In June, Democrats were unable to pass a larger transportation bill, which was worth $12 billion. It was probably their most important goal of the legislative session. In a statement, Democratic Senate President Rob Wagner addressed the delay, saying in part the bill is important for all Oregonians who rely on our roads and the maintenance workers whose jobs are at risk. At the same time, we are not going to do anything that would put the health of our colleague at risk. Republicans fired back, with Republican Senate leader Bruce Starr saying while they hope Gorsuch makes a full recovery, the entire situation was avoidable, adding Governor Kotek could have worked with Republicans from the beginning to craft a transportation package with true bipartisan support. Now, even if this bill does eventually pass, which would likely happen by razor-thin margins, Democrats say it's a Band-Aid, adding that more funding is needed in the future to support transportation agencies and those ODOT workers. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning in the newsroom. Meanwhile, the U.S. Justice Department is taking the state of Oregon and the state of Maine to court, accusing both of breaking federal law. The Trump administration says this lawsuit stems from the states refusing to hand over voter information. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson is covering this story for us in downtown Portland. So Corey, give us the details here.
That's right, Drew. The Trump administration says the secretaries of state for both Oregon and Maine refused to hand over voter data at the Justice Department's request. Now, according to the DOJ lawsuit that was recently announced this week, Oregon refused to produce a current unredacted electronic copy of the state's voter registration list, information on the state's voter list maintenance program, as well as would not disclose registration information for any ineligible voters. Now, the DOJ alleges that violates the National Voter Registration Act, the Help America Vote Act, and the Civil Rights Act of 1960. But Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed rejected the Justice Department's request last month, saying that complying could violate Oregon's privacy laws.
The federal government is exceeding their authority in this regard. They're entitled to public records like anyone else, and if they want to fill out the form and pay the fee, we'll provide them that public record. But it does not include social security numbers, dates of birth, signatures, driver's license information.
Now, an attorney for the DOJ said in the statement on the lawsuit, in part, states simply cannot pick and choose which federal laws they will comply with, including our voting laws. Now, Steve Hobbs, the Secretary of State for Washington, said that he received a similar request last week, but does not intend to comply. Coming up at 8, we'll break down more of the lawsuit. Drew, China.
All right, thank you, Corey Johnson, live there for us in downtown Portland. Portland Public Schools has unveiled the new expected cost to rebuild 3 high schools in the district. We're talking about Jefferson, Cleveland, and Ida B. Wells. And now they expect it'll cost $1.3 billion. That's even more than previously thought. This all comes months after backlash over the price tag, where the schools were expected to cost $1.1 billion to rebuild. So again, it's even worse at this point. Much of the funding will come from a bond that the school district passed in May. Other money from the bond will be used for seismic upgrades at other schools. The plan still needs to be approved, though, by the school board.
2 men who allegedly enticed a 13-year-old girl into 3 years of prostitution will face 19 and 15 years in prison. The Multnomah County DA's office says Dominic Williams met the girl in 2021 and then trafficked her on the street in Multnomah County. The other defendant, Khalif Newcomb, trafficked the victim when she was separated from Williams. In a statement, the prosecutor said, quote, "I am extremely proud of this brave young woman for coming forward to relive and report some of the most violent and traumatizing events of her life. Her courage led to holding 5 dangerous men accountable for some of the most awful crimes in our community, buying and selling children for sex." 3 other people are facing charges, including purchasing sex with a minor.
First responders say someone died earlier this week along the Central Oregon coast after falling into Thor's well. The well is a popular tourist attraction in Yachats. It basically sits right on the ocean. Now, when first responders arrived there on Monday, they say wave conditions made rescue attempts at ground level too dangerous. And there were also several unsuccessful tries to save the person from above with a helicopter. So eventually, a Coast Guard swimmer recovered the body. The Lincoln Chronicle newspaper reports this is the 3rd time since 2017 that someone has died after falling into Thor's well.
Your time now is 7:08, and it looks like Portland's swifts have picked a new spot to roost this year. According to the Portland Bird Alliance, more than 7,000 swifts were spotted roosting at Abernathy Elementary School in southeast Portland. They say that the birds have been flying into and out of the school's chimney for several days. For years, the swifts roosted at Chapman Elementary in northwest Portland every September, but they stayed away from Chapman last year, and they haven't been seen there this year either. And I also think it's crazy that schools have chimneys. Now, maybe it's just a Vegas thing, and we just have boring,
well, you didn't need them in Vegas. You didn't need to heat the buildings in Vegas.
But I was thinking about, do they have it to cook or do they have it for warmth? Either way, it looks cool.
Well, you got your boiler, right? Yeah. To heat everything, you need hot water. And remember that most of those buildings are like built around like 1920. So
yeah, a little bit older.
We do things a little differently now, right? But in any event, speaking of heat, yesterday, here's some of the notable high temperatures in the Willamette Valley. We thought some of us would hit 90. Well, we did. Salem, Aurora, Eugene all hit 93. McMinnville 92, Scappoose 91. Astoria, a record high of 89 degrees along the North Oregon coast. A testament to the power of the gusty east winds. Downsloping off the Cascades, downsloping off the Coast Range. You get that compressional added heating, and that really spiked the temperatures up for you folks. Vancouver hit 90. PDX did not, but close enough at 89. All right, we're done with that. We're done with the gusty east breeze as well. But there will be a west breeze that develops later on this afternoon, and that'll be a sign of the marine air coming in to kind of cool us down a bit. That'll build in even more overnight tonight. So here's the plan for today. I've got Portland topping out at about 81. sun up just a few minutes ago. Really beautiful sunrise, by the way. Meanwhile, we've got some clouds along the Oregon coast, and that is the leading push of that marine air that's trying to work its way inland now. So the coast will be cloudy and even a little drizzly this morning. We'll stay sunny here in the metro area, but you may notice some high clouds scooting on through later today. What I think everyone will notice is that A, it's going to be cooler, and B, you'll feel that northwest breeze picking up. This is Futurecast late this afternoon. Northwest winds gusting 15 to 20 up and down the I-5 corridor as we get that change in air mass. All right, 60 with bright sunshine over downtown, and the plan for today has temperatures in the mid-70s at lunchtime, and we roll the clock into the late afternoon. Once again, we are a good 8 to maybe 12 degrees cooler up and down the I-5 corridor today compared to yesterday. That marine push deepens overnight, so we're likely waking up to cloud cover tomorrow morning. Clouds burn off, upper 70s on Thursday. Friday looks nice. Saturday looks nice. That chance of rain for the weekend now is more like an overnight Saturday, Sunday morning thing. So Saturday itself looks dry. All right, let's get you out the door. We've got a traffic alert on the west side on the inbound Sunset, Highway 26, near the Jefferson exit ramp. It looks like the cars tangled up in that fender bender have moved to the shoulder, but the traffic is really plugged up now. So we'll take you out. This is west of the Sylvan Hill. Traffic actually lining up out towards 217. So if you want to skip that, maybe try the Barnes to Burnside commute. That'll surely save you a few minutes right now. 33, 34 minutes is the inbound drive from Hillsborough. Sorry, lost that Vancouver camera, but you know what? You can imagine what it looks like. It's slow at the Interstate Bridge. 17 minutes now gets you in from Main Street, south of the Fremont. Guys?
Thank you, Chris.
A lot of people say the Cotton Club was the one that started it all.
You know, and this is right in Portland, our backyard. A lot of us don't even know about this.
Yeah, right here in Portland, an important part of the city's music history. Coming up in 2 minutes, we'll take a look at the new documentary that highlights some of the legends that played at the Cotton Club.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
This morning, we're shining the spotlight on what was once the heartbeat of Portland's black music scene, the Albina Cotton Club.
KGW's Libby Dowsett has more on a brand new documentary that highlights some of the music legends who played there.
A lot of people say the Cotton Club was the one that started it all. And it was the hub for young musicians that were 13, 14 years old coming here to play at our jam session on Sundays. Some of them have gone on to be famous, like Mr. Mel Brown. He traveled with Diana Ross for 8 to 12 years. And
Paul Knowles Sr. has a lot to smile about. He's not only the former captain of the Cotton Club, Albina's honorary mayor, but one of the leading voices in the upcoming documentary on the cultural significance of Albina's black music scene in the 1950s through the present.
the word got around that, God, this new guy in town, he's no joke. Everybody wanted to come to the Cotton Club to see what was going on.
One of the club's legendary performers, Calvin Walker, started as a drummer and singer at 11 years old.
You know, you're hanging out with grown-ups, and the next day you go to the 7th grade. You really can't talk about anything with your friends.
Walker's new friends, the Young Soul Sisters, went on to perform with Sammy Davis Jr., Bob Hope, and even on Sesame Street.
From the Cotton Club to Vietnam to being on with Big Bird, that means you've made it.
I played from 79 to 90.
The filmmakers say the documentary isn't just about the stars.
It just was elegance.
But the roots that go deep in Albina.
The neighborhood's gone through a lot, right? And there's still people they're still here though. There's people still here. These guys are still performing.
And appreciating what's right here.
You know, and this is right in Portland, in our backyard. And a lot of us don't even know about this.
So to come back all these years later and get to chronicle this, to document it, it's just a heartfelt thing for me. With all the tumultuous things going on in the world today, to just do something that's chock full of positivity is pretty amazing.
Their stories bridging the gap between the swing of the past and the funk of the future.
I mean, the Cotton Club, this is funk right here. This is, you know, maybe a little bit of jazz here, but this is R&B and funk.
And the music giants willing to keep this story going.
I'm documenting them interacting with each other, and I just see the love. I see the sparkle in their eye, and you know, when I grow up, I want to be like them.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
All right, your time now is 7:16. We're taking a look at the zoo sky cam. Take a look. You can see there's two goats. They're a little blended in there. There's one on the right. Looks like it's on snow, but that's not actually
With
snow.
the fake glaciers, yeah.
The fake glaciers there. And then you got the other one on the left. I don't know what the one on the right is doing, but I know the one on the left is having some breakfast. I hear ya. I feel ya. I want some too.
I want some.
But yesterday, a little warm for the little guys yesterday, but today should be better.
Toasty. We're going to dial back the heat a good 8 to 10 degrees, and we're going to enjoy a beautiful sunrise out there as well. Let's get you out the door and give you the live look from Timberline. A little bit of broken cloud cover trying to pop up in the Cascades, but really outside of that, we're off to a pretty good start and a pretty start. We'll switch gears from that shot to this from our Vancouver sky camera. The springs at the waterfront showing the traffic down below and the clear sky above. It's 56. Last check at Pearson Airfield. The story today is cooler, certainly, as we mentioned, a good 8 to 12 degrees cooler, and it's going to be a breezy afternoon. Winds on the order of maybe 10 to 15 as a cool front sweeps on through. This is a look at the satellite radar loop over the last little while, and we're already starting to see some cloud cover build here along the Oregon coast, a little misty and drizzly there as Futurecast shows got a little bit of cloud cover starting to creep in there, and we'll probably wake up to some of that early tomorrow morning as well as I roll the clock on Futurecast into this afternoon. Pardon me, some gusty winds starting to pop up a little bit later today. All right, here's a look at our gorge forecast. We've got sunshine in the East Gorge. Temperatures today getting into the mid-80s for you folks and still cooler. That's the story here up and down the I-5 corridor with, again, as we mentioned, about 8 to 12 degrees cooler. Vancouver hit 90, Salem hit 93 yesterday. Today we're going to shoot for about 82 in Salem as well. And our forecast, our day planner here for Portland, showing again that gusty northwest breeze popping up later today. It was out of the east yesterday. Today the breeze popping up out of the west, and daytime highs again accordingly dropping down into the lower 80s. So noticeable cool down for sure for our Wednesday after a hot day yesterday. All right, morning clouds build in on Thursday. We'll wake up to temperatures in the 50s and probably only warm into the upper 70s. And then our Friday, Saturday forecast, we keep it dry. We've been talking about a chance of rain this weekend. That rain chance looks like it moves on into Saturday night and early Sunday morning. So Sunday's going to be the wet day, and it looks like that will be out of here by Sunday afternoon. So some good news there is kind of a 50-50 weekend. Saturday looks dry, Sunday probably a little wet, and fall arrives on Monday. All right, let's get you out the door here. I apologize, we lost our live camera here on the Sunset, but I can show you the backup right now on Highway 26, and it's pretty significant. So heads up coming in from the west side. That crash near the Jefferson exit ramp, it looks like it's been cleared to the shoulder, but traffic stacked up here for a pretty good ways. It's actually out past the Sylvan Hill on Highway 26. So if you're coming in from Hillsborough, you've got the opportunity to try the Barnes to Burnside commute. That'll save you some time. Right now it's 35 minutes to get you in from Hillsborough, so that drive building pretty quickly. The trip in from Wilsonville up to 27 minutes, and we'll switch gears and show you the Clark County commute. 205 in fine shape, fine contrast from yesterday. The I-5 drive, though, 20 minutes to get you in from Main Street south to the Fremont Bridge. Drew, China?
Thank you, Chris. The man responsible for stealing Beyonce's unreleased music is now behind bars. We have that story plus more of your national headlines when Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Welcome back to Sunrise. We're learning new details about the murder of 31-year-old conservative activist Charlie Kirk last week. Prosecutors filed formal charges, and Kirk's suspected killer made his first court appearance yesterday. Sherelle Hubbard has more details for us.
Tyler James Robinson intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk.
Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspect in the killing of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, appeared virtually in Utah State Court on Tuesday, where he was formally charged.
Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty.
Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray announcing he will seek the death penalty in the case.
I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney.
Robinson now faces 7 criminal counts.
Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony.
According to charging documents, Robinson's DNA was found on the trigger of the rifle used in the shooting. Prosecutors also outlined incriminating text messages between Robinson and his roommate. Prosecutors say Robinson's mother recognized her son from images on the news and raised concerns to his father, who confronted his son.
Robinson implied that he was the shooter. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate.
In the end, Robinson turned himself in. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
Let's take a look at some other national headlines here with your Morning Rush. The judge in the murder case of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson dismissed 2 murder charges related to terrorism against Luigi Mangione. The 27-year-old still faces federal charges and other state charges in this case. Mangione has pleaded not guilty on all the charges against him. President Trump is meeting with King Charles III today as the U.S. and U.K. work on trade deals and ways to end the wars in both Gaza and Ukraine. Protesters gathered outside Windsor Castle ahead of the meeting. There was a giant photo of President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein displayed. This comes after the British ambassador to the U.S. was fired regarding new details about his ties to Epstein. Protesters also speaking out on the escalating wars, again, both in Gaza and Ukraine. The U.S. Department of Education says it processed more than 300,000 student loan repayment applications in August, but over 1 million are still backlogged, along with 70,000 loan forgiveness requests. The update comes as the agency faces a lawsuit accusing it of denying borrowers fair access to relief. Police have arrested this man, Kelvin Evans, for stealing hard drives with unreleased Beyoncé music during her Atlanta tour stop earlier this summer. Investigators say the drives were taken from an SUV rented by her choreographer. Evans is facing theft charges for this, but police say the hard drives containing the unreleased songs is still missing. And that's a look at your morning rush. Speaking of relief, we also are talking about relief for credit card payments this morning and mortgages. All of that could soon be on the way as the Federal Reserve gets ready to cut interest rates. We're going to have more in your consumer headlines in our next half hour of Sunrise.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Wednesday morning drive. We send photojournalist Eric Patterson live out in traffic to get stuck in it so you don't have to. And he is stuck in a backup right now on the Sunset. So he's creeping down the hill past the zoo. We had an earlier crash near the Vista Ridge Tunnel, actually right near the Jefferson exit ramp. It looks like that's been cleared to the shoulder, but the backup remains. So you're tripping from Hillsborough right now, averaging about 32 minutes. Try Barnes to Burnside to get around that backup. I-84 westbound really starting to build, as is the trip from Wilsville, up to 36 minutes at last check. At last check, it's also bright and sunny out there. Our Wells Fargo sky camera showing full sunshine over downtown. And we're waking up to 60 right now at PDX. Elsewhere, we've got temperatures in the mid-50s in Beaverton and Hillsborough, and down to the south, Salem checking in with 54. The plan for today, we keep the sun, but we drop the temperatures down a good 8 to 10 degrees from yesterday. PDX hit 89 today. We'll shoot for a high of about 81. Our 7-day forecast shows cloud cover building in early tomorrow morning, so that'll take a little while to burn off, but we'll finish the day with sun and highs in the upper 70s. And our weekend, dry Saturday, wet Sunday.
All right, if you're a fan of the Friends show or a fan of the show called Friends, you'll have a new spot to hang out in if you're visiting New York City. A Central Perk coffee shop, like a real one, is opening up this fall in Times Square. It's going to feature a modern look, but it'll still have some of the classic Friends touches like the iconic orange sofa. So again, if you find yourself in New York this fall, you can head to Times Square and hang out just like the Friends hanged out. China Green.
That was their thing. Like that's like where they would gossip and stuff.
Yes, Chandler and Monica and Phoebe and wait a minute. Monica,
Ross,
Phoebe,
Ross,
Chandler, Joey, and Rachel. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, producer in my ear.
I wasn't actually much of a Friends watcher. I feel like I was.
Well, I can clearly tell China didn't.
Oh, that's good. We have something in common. I don't know.
Talk about all the episodes you never saw together.
Yeah.
Starting with all of them.
All of them, yes. Okay, we'll go over here and do the weather. The one thing I do know about is this. It's a gorgeous start to our morning out there. The sun is up. It's been up for a while now. We'll keep the sunshine, but if yesterday was too hot for you, we'll dial back the heat just a little bit. 60 last check out the door at the airport. It's 56 right now in Vancouver. Down to the South Wilsonville, waking up to 57, and in Salem, 54. All right, the plan for today, happy hump day. It's Wednesday. We will see sunshine, wall-to-wall sunshine. We lose that gusty east breeze. It's actually pretty calm out there right now, but the winds will shift to the west later today. So you'll probably notice that this afternoon with comfortable daytime highs in the lower 80s. Our 7-day forecast once again showing a cooling trend continuing into Thursday and Friday. Okay, let's get you back out the door. We do have a traffic alert on the west side. I want to pick it up with the Sunset inbound right now. Highway 26, your drive time coming in from Hillsborough, it has improved some. 31 minutes, but here's the deal. We had a crash near the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Looks like that crash is out of the way, but again, the backup still remains. In fact, photojournalist Eric Patterson is out in it right now, working its way down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel. So that's trouble spot number one. As we mentioned, there are some other slow spots out there. The trip in from Wilsonville at last check has also spiked up. We're now approaching 40 minutes to get you in from Wilsonville Road to downtown. Drew, China.
Thank you, Chris. A Monoma County man will spend more than 3 years in prison for using 2 teens to help him sell fentanyl. 57-year-old Olaf Lamont Johnson was sentenced to 40 months after Portland police caught him with a 14-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy who had a loaded gun inside his SUV. Investigators say that Johnson had 100 fentanyl pills and packaging materials in the car with him.
Portland police have identified the man killed in a shooting near the Denny's at Northeast Holiday and Grand last week. The medical examiner determined that 25-year-old Hassani Abdi Musa died of a gunshot wound. Police were called to the scene around 11:30 last Tuesday night. Officers say Musa was already dead when they got there. His family has been notified.
Now to an update on a story that we brought to you as breaking news yesterday on Sunrise. A man is in custody after police say that he hit a semi-truck on I-205, causing it to flip on its side across the north and southbound lanes. It happened near Powell Boulevard around 2:30 yesterday morning and tied up traffic for several hours. Fortunately, no one was injured. The police say 25-year-old John C. Lee was driving under the influence when he crashed into the semi. Lee was arrested for DUI, reckless driving, and criminal mischief. A homeless village in Longview is set to close next month after serving people for years.
As KGW's Blair Best explains, the Salvation Army says it's no longer qualified to run the site.
This tiny home village called Hope Village on the outskirts of Longview has been around for 3 years now. During that time, more than 100 people have transitioned into some form of housing. But a program that the city deems a success is now closing October 1st, and it all comes down to taxpayer dollars. For 3 years, this site has been paid for by Longview taxpayers, along with other grants. The city wants to change that and make it so the group running the site can fund it themselves and be reimbursed by Medicaid. To do that, the provider needs to be a behavioral health agency. The Salvation Army, which has been running the site, is not, so they terminated their contract. So far, the city hasn't been able to find anyone to take it over, so the site is closing October 1st. As of this week, about 23 people staying at the site are trying to figure out where they will go next.
It's really disappointing because it helps a lot of people get off the street.
When we saw it, we realized pretty easily that we were no longer qualified. We couldn't even apply. Being in our 3rd year, we were well entrenched into this program. We had gained a lot of ground. We were seeing many successes.
I mean, I am a taxpayer, so taxpayer dollars down the toilet seems like a waste.
Now, we're told there's still about a dozen people inside the site that don't have a strong plan of where they'll go next. And the city of Longview recently passed a camping ban, so if they end up on the streets, they could face fines and possible jail time. In Longview, Washington, Blair Best, KGW News.
Portland families will soon have one less option for specialized pediatric care. Providence St. Vincent is closing its pediatric intensive care unit the first week of November. The hospital says they don't get enough patients in the unit. Providence says it's working with the nurses union to determine what's next for those who work in the pediatric ICU. Oregon's Attorney General Dan Rayfield is warning you about an uptick in EBT card skimming cases. So thieves hide skimming devices in payment terminals to steal card numbers and PINs. In a statement, Rayfield said that he's seen 50% more money stolen in Oregon in the last 2 weeks than the previous 2 months combined. EBT cards are particularly vulnerable because they lack modern security features. He recommends that cardholders should only use the the official EBT website to manage their account and change their PIN regularly.
All right, a lot of you may have seen this yesterday or at least heard about this. A cloud of ash blowing around Mount St. Helens. So the U.S. Geological Survey says high winds stirred up all that ash left over on the mountain from its 1980 eruption. Now, the ash incident yesterday attracted so much attention that the USGS actually had to put out an alert to let people know this was not another eruption.
So we're getting emails and phone calls, both from pilots and from the public, just saying that they're seeing an unusual amount of ash today, and they wanted to know if the volcano was erupting. It's definitely not erupting.
When St. Helens did erupt 45 years ago, ash traveled far and wide, but the ash swirling during yesterday's wind event didn't go very far at all.
Yesterday's hot weather and high winds created challenging conditions for firefighters in Forest Grove, who had to race to put out a tractor that caught fire while cutting wheat. The wind pushed the fire across 7 acres near Gales Creek Road and Mystic Drive. Luckily, no one was hurt, no homes were damaged, but the tractor was destroyed.
Quick heads up for people in Deschutes and Jefferson counties who may have lost food purchased with SNAP benefits during the flat tire fire last month. They have until Monday, September 22nd now, to report any food losses and request any replacement benefits. We also want to let you know about a new tree planting program in Portland that aims to bring more shade to parts of the city. The program's goal is to plant 10,000 trees a year in and around parts of North and Northeast Portland over the next several years. It's a nearly $2 million tree planting program funded by money that's been set aside for environmental projects in the city.
ESEF funds were voted on by Portlanders a number of years ago, and it's a really small percentage of large businesses' revenue that gets collected by the city to use specifically for climate resilience actions.
Volunteers will start planting trees in the next couple of weeks, and the program is set to continue through 2028.
Your time now is 7:38. Headed over to Chris McGinnis for a look at weather.
Toasty day yesterday. You missed that, China, but you know what? It'll be warm today. It's just not as warm. So Salem, Aurora, Eugene hit 93 degrees. Records in Eugene and Salem. McMinnville hit 92. Astoria's record yesterday, 85. You hit 89. As does Portland. Portland, not a record, but still pretty warm. And of course, across the river in Vancouver, you folks hit 89 or 90 degrees, I should say, at Pearson Field. The live look now from Vancouver this morning, from the springs at the waterfront, showing blue sky and a good looking start to what's going to be a really nice day today. Again, we're going to dial back the heat several degrees. We're starting off at 56 at Pearson. Bright sun coming up over the Cascades. Interesting, it's just a mile or so across the river. It's 56 at Pearson, but it's 60 right now at PDX this morning. All right, satellite radar loop, it's really hard to see, but there's a little band of cloud cover approaching the northwest coast, and that is the difference maker for today. We're going to turn the breeze onshore. That means the beach is probably going to be stuck in the cloud cover for at least the morning before you see some sunshine, and the wind will eventually ratchet up out of the west, especially through the gorge. East end of the gorge will feel those west winds whipping later today, as we will up and down the I-5 corridor, but the bigger story is not as hot. Again, Vancouver hit 90 today, or yesterday. Today we're shooting for about 81. Salem yesterday was 93. Today we're shooting for about 82. And in the Portland metro area, again, cooler will be the story today. I've got PDX topping out at 81 this afternoon. And again, later on today, you'll feel that northwest breeze 15 to 20 late this afternoon. Here's our 7-day forecast. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine tomorrow. And then Friday looks good. Saturday also looks good. We've been talking about a weekend rain chance. That rain chance looks like it comes in now late Saturday evening. So most of Saturday itself is actually going to be quite nice. Rain, though, will be in the forecast for Sunday morning. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads right now. We pick it up on the west side. Some earlier trouble on the Sunset. Looks like that has cleared the traffic, the crash. However, the drive is still backed up out past Sylvan at this point. So your drive coming in from Hillsborough is still a healthy 35 minutes at last check. There's the trip through Tualatin, northbound I-5, moving from the lower right to the upper left-hand part of your screen, right at the 205 interchange. That's pretty slow as well. Your drive coming in from Wilsonville now has spiked up to 38 minutes at last check. Drew, China?
All right, thank you, Chris.
My expectation is that we'll vote for a cut.
For the first time since last December, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce a cut to the federal interest rate. What that can mean for your wallet, coming up here in 2 minutes, along with this morning's consumer headlines.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and tonight at 6:30 on This Story, a Portland City Councilor says ICE detained 2 people in North Portland this week. This as conversations around the city's sanctuary status continue. The head of Portland's police union joins me live. Watch The Story tonight live at 6:30 on KGW or anytime on our TV app, KGW Plus. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
A financial break could be on the way for anyone applying for a credit card, a mortgage loan, or an auto loan. Economists predict the Federal Reserve will announce interest rate cuts today. Here's Amy Kiley with more.
My expectation is that we'll vote for a cut.
Analysts expect Federal Reserve decision makers to reduce interest rates today for the first time since December. Most estimate at least a quarter-point drop. That would bring the target federal funds rate to between 4 and 4.25%. Such a cut usually makes it cheaper to borrow money.
They set the price and supply of money. That literally affects how much we pay for our mortgage, our credit card, our auto loan, and it affects really the entire base of business.
The Fed vote comes as FICO reports the biggest credit score drop since the Great Recession. For some Americans, that's pushing loan costs the other way.
The higher the score, the cheaper it is to borrow, and vice versa. Lower scores make it more expensive to borrow.
In addition to impacting debt, a Fed interest rate cut also can increase inflation. Many economists say tariffs are doing that already.
Things are going to cost more in the grocery store. Your BLT is going to be like bacon and lettuce because tomatoes are up.
Fed decision makers also affect the yield on savings accounts and CDs, and they can influence retirement funds in the stock market.
They will indicate what we call a loosening bias or an easing bias, but they won't commit ahead of time to future cuts. And I think the markets may react a little negatively to that.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Now for a look at your consumer headlines. If you receive money from the federal government, you've only got a couple weeks left to make sure that you can get it digitally. The Treasury Department will stop issuing most on Social Security benefits. Recipients must switch to direct deposit or a prepaid debit card. You can get it for requested at godirect.gov.
Jerry of Ben & Jerry's says he's leaving the ice cream brand after 47 years. The co-founder, Jerry Greenfield, says the company lost its independence after its British owner put a halt to Ben & Jerry's social activism. Ben & Jerry's has taken a public stance on social issues since it was founded back in 1978. Also this morning, OpenAI out with a new report on how people can use or should use or have used ChatGPT. It analyzed more than 1 million chat logs and found most users turn to the tool for personal needs like schoolwork, fitness, or writing help. The report says nearly half of all users are ages 18 to 25, with most users being women. ChatGPT is also being used as a substitute for web searches, along with coding, product research, and relationship advice.
Relationship advice. I don't know if you should be asking ChatGPT about relationship
How do
advice,
I figure out not to get my wife to yell at me for which way I put the dishes in the dishwasher?
Oh, is that a thing in your household
That's
too?
a thing, yeah.
My husband thinks I load the
Doesn't yell,
dishwasher
by the
like
way.
this.
I'm going to ask you guys one thing, then we'll move on.
Okay.
You're putting your silverware into the dishwasher. You putting it down or are you putting it up? Like
Up.
this fork is sticking up. Yeah, that's what I do too. Okay.
Yeah.
But some people don't. They put the fork down. But I want the dirty part, the dirtiest part
Yes.
of the fork to be exposed.
How about this one? Do you pre-wash your dishes before you put them in the dishwasher?
Yes.
Like by hand in the sink?
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently you're not supposed to. Someone
I still-
on this station we did a report about how the chemicals in the soap that you're using.
Sense how dirty the dishes are? And
No, it's supposed to it uses the dirt to break down somehow. I don't know. But I was
Ow.
told that you're not supposed to actually rinse them.
Okay.
But I still do.
Fair enough. Okay. On to the weather. We are off to a beautiful start this morning. Bright sunshine out there and a comfortable start in the same ballpark as where we were yesterday, but the end result is that we're not going to be nearly as warm as yesterday. Reason being, low pressure offshore dragging a cool front. If you look really closely, it's hard to see, but there is a little line of cloud cover there, and you'll see it actually here. I can't show you the satellite, but I can show you the what it looks like live in Lincoln City. You can see the effect of that onshore push, a little bit of mist, a little bit of drizzle, maybe out near Cascade Head, and certainly the cloud cover moving in. That is the shift in the wind that will eventually, well, you'll notice it here in the valley, but it will also help knock our temperatures back a good 8 to 12 degrees compared to yesterday. So this is Futurecast. Just before noontime, you see even some green specks in the clouds there, indicating maybe some drizzle at the beach. That front will pass through the Willamette Valley without much fanfare. You probably won't even notice, maybe it's just a few clouds, but you will feel a bit of a wind shift, and that wind will pick up noticeably this afternoon. Fast forwarding Futurecast to tomorrow morning, that onshore push gets a little deeper, so Thursday is a day that we are likely to wake up with cloud cover building back from the Cascades, and that is a very typical weather pattern when you get a cool front that sweeps on through. The marine layer deepens, the clouds build in the morning, and then they burn off in the afternoon, and so that's what tomorrow's forecast looks like. Okay, later on today, as that cool front sweeps on through, again, not much of a breeze out there right now. Yesterday we had the gusty east wind, not much breeze now. Later this afternoon, we'll have a gusty west wind as that front sweeps on through, so you'll notice that later today. At the beach, morning clouds, maybe a little bit of drizzle. It should turn sunny there, but obviously a lot cooler. Astoria was 89 degrees yesterday. Today, you're going to keep it in the upper 60s. Cascade Locks gets to 79 with a gusty west wind whipping through the east end of the gorge and across southwest Washington. Again, cooler is the trend. Vancouver hit 90 yesterday. I've got Vancouver at 81 today. Salem, yesterday you were 93. Today I've got you at 82. And here in Portland, again, 89 was the high at PDX. I've got us topping out at 81 this afternoon, again with the breeze picking up out of the northwest later today. I've been talking about the weekend. We mentioned the weekend rain chance, and I wanted to kind of fine-tune that a little bit because at this point now, modeling suggests this front will hold offshore during the day on Saturday. So your weekend at this point looks 50-50. Instead of rain both Saturday and Sunday, it looks like the rain is Sunday, and Saturday will be dry. You see that in my 7-day forecast. There you go. 81 today, upper 70s Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend forecast, dry Saturday, but a little wet, we think, Sunday morning. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. The drive, not great this morning. Over on the west side, inbound Sunset, your drive has spiked up to 36 minutes at last check. getting in from Hillsborough. We had a crash near the tunnel. That's out of the way now, but the drive's still puttering along a bit. And the trip from Wilsonville hits the brakes right here. This is I-5 at the 205 interchange in Tualatin, so that's pretty thick as well. No crashes to report on that stretch of road, just a busy drive this morning. And last but not least, as we take you up to Clark County, there's the I-5 drive at the Interstate Bridge. That is pretty slow, of course. We expect that this hour of a Wednesday morning commute, 30 minutes, get you in from Main Street south to the Fremont Bridge. Guys?
Thank you, Chris.
I've always been the one to give.
A man in Canby used to lending a helping hand to his friends, now without a home, and now the community is rallying to help him. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
The friends of a 74-year-old Canby man are trying to help him rebuild his life after he lost nearly everything in a house fire.
Investigators believe the fire was started by an extension cord. KGW's Catherine Cook has more.
The flames were coming out the front door.
Last Tuesday is a bit of a blur for Dick Paget. That's his Canby home going up in flames. He'd just woken up when he heard an electrical spark.
I looked down to the side of my bed and there's already flames coming up.
Paget tried to put out the flames, but it was no use. Within minutes, the whole house was on fire.
I had to grab a pair of pants and ran for the front door.
And that's about all he made it out with. The Crocs on his feet, those were in his car. He's thankful that wasn't destroyed, just a little melted. Everything else?
My cell phone's toast, and my iPad is toast.
Gone. And while it would be completely reasonable for Paget to just be focused on himself right now, he's not.
It's funny, I take a buddy to all of his doctor's appointments, but he has no way of getting in touch with me. He can't text me and say when his doctor's appointments are right now because I haven't got a phone yet.
Paget's been staying at a friend's house while his place is boarded up. Neighbors were glad to know he's okay.
Yeah, we've been worried about him, wanting to know how he's doing and stuff and what's happening with his house.
Well, right now I'm just happy to be alive.
Paget is retired. He says he won't know what, if anything, insurance will cover for quite a while. Friends started a GoFundMe to get him back on his feet. Paget says he told them not to at first, then realized it's okay to let others help him.
I've always been the one to give. And not ask. So, thank you.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
The Humane Society for Southwest Washington says it's seen a 23% increase in the number of cats it's taking in compared to this time last year. to help them find new forever homes. The Humane Society is waiving adoption fees for cats 6 months and older this Friday through Sunday. To learn more, go to the Humane Society for Southwest Washington's website.
I was like, oh my God, are those? No, those aren't dogs. Those are coyotes because I've seen them before.
Yeah, definitely not dogs. That mom in Texas has coyote-proofed her backyard at this point after she found them sleeping on her patio furniture, and it looks like one of them destroyed her pillow. Yeah, come on. She says she basically sees these coyotes near her home at some point every single day, so she's installed this solar-powered motion sensor pest repellent, and she also put up a fence to help keep those coyotes off her property.
Pillows are really expensive. That sucks. Coming up at 8, the latest on Oregon's massive transportation bill as lawmakers delay a vote on the measure again. Why the delay and what lawmakers' next steps are. Plus,
when we saw it, we realized pretty easily that we were no longer qualified. We couldn't even apply.
A Longview homeless village is closing next month. We're going to hear more from the Salvation Army, who explains why they're not able to keep it running anymore. Wrapping up the 7 o'clock hour sunrise with this live look from our state capitol, the state capitol building there, front and center. Beautiful start to the day there in Marion County. Chris McGinnis will also be on board as soon as we kick off the 8 o'clock hour with a look at your forecast for today, the rest of the week, and into the weekend. The Sunrise Show, the 8 o'clock hour here on KGW Plus, kicks off in just over 3 minutes.